I'm gonna share with you guys the secret of how in just 5 days I practiced over 50 hours, I lost over 10 pounds, and I finished the entire Bible. In my physical and mental health journey, this has made a huge impact. I mean, I went from 180 pounds, 30% body fat, to sub 160 pounds and sub 20% body fat. I mean, look at this pair of jeans that used to be so snug, and now it looks like it was on an obese person before. And I did this by following what I call monk mode, which is 5 days of eating no food, doing nothing but listening to the Bible, waking up every day, cold plunging, followed by cardio, and then an ab exercise, and then I'd get right to work and start practicing drums for 5 hours. All I was allowed to do was productive things, and I was neglecting myself of dopamine. Then I would take a 1 hour break, and again, I'm not eating food, so I do a 1 hour break of strength training of some sort. Back to 5 hours of practice, and then I'd call it a night and do it all over the next day. So follow me on my journey as I show you Marco's monk mode. So it's 2:24 in the morning. The plane just landed from the weekend run with the Mac Miller tribute band, and I have arrived much later than I anticipated. I expected to be asleep by 1 in the morning so I can start day 1 at 10 a.m. I'm still going to start it at 10 a.m., but I'm going to be lacking sleep now. I have to still set up my drums so that I'm ready for tomorrow's practice. And I want to take some before measurements and videos and whatnot. But I'm going to be getting to bed a lot later than I expected. I have to take a shower still as well. So after I sort all that stuff out, we're going to begin day 1 tomorrow/today when I wake up in a couple hours. So let me set this drum kit up real quick, take some videos, measurements, and a shower, and then it's off to bed. And I have to remember to always film sideways. I've been filming vertically, but this is going to be a slight challenge filming sideways and remembering that. So let me set this up and let's get to it so I can get to sleep. Alright guys, so here it is. This is my best friend and Bible for the next 5 days. I wrote down a very detailed schedule for me to follow in order for me to achieve everything I want to achieve in the next 5 days. And I wrote down the details right here. So, long and short, we're going to be drinking 1 gallon of water a day. It's a water fast, so no food for 5 days, only water every day. About 10 hours of drum practice a day. No alcohol, drugs, porn, masturbation, sex, no dopamine at all. Only at-home workouts, so I'm doing cardio, strength training, abs, all that. I'm going to be working out every single day, and I will cold plunge every single morning, starting from 1 minute on day 1 to a 7-minute cold plunge on day 7. And the last thing you'll notice is that at the end of every day, I leave a space for reflections, and that could be anything from, oh, that's crazy how Jesus multiplied the bread in this portion of the gospel, or, oh, at 2:30 p.m., I almost blacked out after my arm workout, so I had to take an electrolyte packet. And then I have my stats at the end for the PRs that I'll be setting for myself. So, shall we get started? All right, 168.8. Got all my measurements down. 35-inch waist, that's around the belly button. 41-inch chest. 20-inch thigh. 15-inch calf. 15-inch bicep. 12-inch forearm. And now we'll see what the results look like. This is what day 1 is looking like. Just got back in from a flight. I'm feeling exhausted. It's 4 in the morning. That's 3 hours later than I planned on getting to bed. So I'm going to be waking up at 10 in the morning. That's 6 at the most hours of sleep if I go to bed right now. But I'm getting some shots in before I fucking hell. I want to get some shots in of the before shots. I just weighed in at 168.8, and so I'm excited to see where I finish off. 5 days from now, technically 6 days, I guess. Theoretically, or technically, I am 4 hours into my fast so far. So I'm 4 hours into my fast. I weigh 168.8. My final meal was Qdoba at the airport at 11 p.m. I had a loaded chicken bowl with cheese, sour cream, rice, black beans, you name it, everything under the sun. And I just took a half-hour poop before my shower. Now I'm all shaved up, and I shower, shave. I finished all that. 4 hours into the fast, this is how I look with the lighting, and I weigh 168.8. So let's see what I look like on day 6. Day 1, filling up the ice bath. I got my ice frozen. All that ready to go inside. All right, first ice bath. Let's get it. Oh, very cold, very cold. Stay calm. Alexa, set an alarm for 1 minute. Okay, so the ice bath took about 12 minutes to set up, which is longer than I anticipated because I set my alarm for 10 in the morning, and the cardio is supposed to start at 10:15. However, I'm gonna have to start setting my alarm for 9:45. I did 6 trays of ice and I dumped it in before it was full. And it all pretty much melted before. Alexa, off! It all melted before I got in. Oh my god, I'm cold as a bitch. Alexa, how much time is left? So my alarm just went off while I set the timer on Alexa. And so the timer got shut off, but I want to say it's been about a minute so far, so we'll call it right there. I'm gonna get some hot water in my body, cool down. Or heat up rather than cool down. You can hear the shakiness in my voice. I believe it's been over a minute. I just want to make sure I'm doing the full minute. Day 1, actually I feel like it might get easier the longer you stay in the cold water. But day 1, ice bath, a success. Putting some hot water on my body. Let's get it. It's a learning experience. Oh, let's go. Oh, shit. Fuck. Oh, I can't feel my legs at all. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. Morning 1 weigh-in. Let's see. Okay. 10 hours into the fast, we're 166.8. We're down 2 pounds, 10 hours into the fast. 6 hours from my last weigh-in. Okay, so I finished the cold plunge. I weighed myself in. I brushed my teeth. After everything, it's now a little after 10:30 in the morning. And I planned it out for a 10:15 cold plunge and 10:15 to 10:45 cardio session. And so obviously I have to start waking up earlier. So I learned. The cold plunge was 2.5 minutes on morning 1. Because my Alexa went off prematurely and I shut her off because my alarm. Therefore, I went 2.5 minutes in the cold plunge day 1. But the tub took like 12 minutes to fill up. So I'm going to start waking up earlier, 9:45 in the morning, waking up. And then I'm going to immediately start filling that tub so it's ready to go by 10 a.m. And then I could get my hot little shower after the cold plunge, brush my teeth, and be ready to go by 10:15. That's the goal. So I've cut into my cardio time. I'm going to get a little bit of jump rope time, start listening to Matthew, and then we're going to get an ab workout going, and then I'm going to get my first hour of practice for these next 5 days. Let's get it.
Obed, the father of Jesse, and Jesse, the father of King David. David was the father of Solomon, whose mother had been Uriah's wife. Solomon, the father of Rehoboam. Rehoboam, the father of Abijah. Abijah, the father of Asa. Asa, the father of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat, the father of Jehoram. Jehoram, the father of Uzziah. Uzziah, the father of Jotham. Jotham, the father of Ahaz. Ahaz, the father of Hezekiah. Hezekiah, the father of Manasseh. Manasseh, the father of Amon.
It's about 10:50, so I'm getting a 5-minute late start on the ab workout, but the ab workout is only about 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to be doing Chris Haria's 2023 six-pack abs workout every single day. I might switch it up, I don't know. But I've been doing this for over a year now, and it's helped me get so close to a six-pack. I'm going to continue to pay homage to my mans, Chris Haria. Also, side note, Qdoba as my last meal might not have been the move. I just got off the toilet again. And the reason why I keep informing you and updating you guys is because there will be a day where I'm no longer digesting food. That could be tomorrow, that could be the next day. But at a certain point, my body is going to stop digesting the food in it and start digesting itself. First, the carbohydrates, the glycogen. Then it's going to use ketones, for the ketones to use fats for digesting its fat. And after 3 days, we're going to start digesting the muscle and the protein. So I'm going to stop going to the bathroom after a certain amount of time. But I'm here on day 1 after the Qdoba as my last meal. I'm still going to the bathroom pretty regularly. So without further ado, let's get this ab workout.
Throughout the day, even after we're done working out. And these are the specific things that I do not only to get shredded, but to be at peak performance all year round. And if you're trying to get shredded and dialed in, every bit counts. So if you're ready, let's get down and get into the first exercise. We're gonna be going for crunch, reach the glutes, laying down on our back, heels flat on the ground, hands up. We're gonna crunch up and throw a hook right through our legs, just like this, for 45 seconds straight. Give it a nice twist. Make sure you're working those obliques.
It's 11:05, and we're getting started with the first hour of practice for these next 40 hours for the next 5 days. Returning to watching the Gospel of Matthew while I hit 1 hour of pad practice. Let's get it.
This is how the birth of Jesus the Messiah came about. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him and took Mary home as his wife. But he did not consummate their marriage until she gave birth to a son, and he gave him the name Jesus.
I just got some stats for day 1 on the pad. This is blowing my mind. My right hand push-pull is 155 BPM, and my left hand can only get 120 BPM. That's crazy. It's insane. So for the rest of me watching the Gospel of Matthew, I'm going to be working on only left hand push-pull for the rest of the pad practice. This is blowing my mind. This makes me disappointed, and I am excited to get this back up. I would rather than to increase my right hand speed even more, I would like to catch my left hand up to my right hand by day 6. So I'm going to be really targeting my left hand push-pull. That's going to be a huge focus. Left hand push-pull and, of course, finger single stroke roll speed. So let's get back to practice. I received an emergency business text message while I was in my last 15 minutes of pad practice. So I came here to the foot pad, and I was just busting out singles like that while I was sending out some posters for Pickle Mafia on our Cali run. So, yeah, I had to cut into my pad practice to hit some business. But ideally, that's not going to happen too much. But I still got in that hour, and I finished it in I finish it off with my right foot. So I targeted my left hand, push-pull, and I got my right foot going. And now, given that it's 12:10, we're 10 minutes into my double kick practice. So let's take it to the drum set. So as I round out the second hour of practice, I've been working on Thomas Hawk's Herta pattern in Meshuggah's song Bleed for the past half hour. And I don't have it as clean as I would like it. I can do it cleaner slowly, but when I do it up to speed, it's hard for me to jump in with the Hertas. You'll see here. A little while for it to sink in, but slowly I can jump right in and hit the Hertas. But I found this cool modulation which sounds like this. Kind of cool. Anyways, on to the next portion of practice, which is play the parts. Just pocket, play, and groove for 1 hour. Let's go. The time is now 2:03. I finished playing the parts, which was really just playing pocket, working on my inner metronome. Next up, we have the HiHat Chick, and then out of my practice log. So 2 hours of reading material. So far, we've got, I believe, 3 hours of practice done. I'm going on to my 4th and 5th hour here. And for my reading material, you can call me biased, but I'll be working out of my book, The HiHat Chick, to work on my left foot, as well as my practice log. I have a ton of stuff in here. At the end, I have a table of contents so that you can see all the different categories and sections. I got jazz, Latin, metal, grooves, phrases in 7 and 5. I have, of course, what I wrote the book Left Foot HiHat Chick from was this practice log. And this started in 2019. It's not only 2019. I've been using it since. I filled up hundreds of pages, so I'll be working out of these 2 books for my written material for me to read while I practice. So let's dive right into the HiHat Chick. So I'm only on page 1, and I'm gonna give this away, I guess, but this is just a demo copy. When you order a book, it doesn't get cut off like this. I had to reorder a new batch because the first demo copy, every page was kind of cut off like that. So anyways, I'm on only the first example, which really just sounds like, right? But I made this groove out of it. I dove so deep into it already that I made this groove out of it.
really take each example and dive deep into it and find your voice through the examples. The example isn't your voice. Find your voice via the example in the book. That's how you find your voice on your instrument. Anyways, to continue. It's 2:30 and I just spent half an hour on not these 4 examples, but only the first 2. I spent 15 minutes per example for these first 2, just exploring. These were the foundation, and then I layered on different toppings and sprinkles and accessories over the foundation, mixing up the stickings. I was alternating singles for these. Instead of doing left foot, right hand, left hand, left hand, I was doing left foot, right hand, left hand, right hand, left foot, right hand, left hand, right hand, mixing them up. Anyways, yeah, I spent half an hour on 2 examples on page 1. Now for the second half hour, I'm going to dive into the phrases section. Alright, so day 1, left foot hi-hat chick practice is ending with the toughest example in the whole book, phrase B5 on page 4. And at such a high tempo, watch how relaxed and calm I have to be in order to properly execute this example. Crazy. Anyways, onto the practice log. So it's 4 o'clock and I'm officially rounded out my 5th hour of practice for the day. I'm finishing up in the practice log here, and I've just really been chilling on page 1. 2 examples stuck out to me, and the first one is this shuffle groove. And that just loops in the example that I wrote down. However, I started displacing it and making it sound more interesting. I chilled on that for quite some time. That was really cool. And the second thing that stuck out to me was this chugga da flam tap chop. And so I started moving that around the toms, and it sounded like this. Bit fast. That was right at my threshold, but I chilled on those 2 things for quite some time. 5 hours of practice done. Now I'm gonna hit the weights, and it is push day today. So we're gonna do shoulders, chest, and triceps while I continue listening to the gospel according to Matthew.
Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said. "Be clean." Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. Then Jesus said to him, See that you don't tell anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift Moses commanded as a testimony to them.
So I just finished up my push workout. I hit a lot of shoulder presses, tons of push-ups, some tricep extensions, whatnot, close grip, wide grips. And really, I didn't even focus on the amount of reps. I just focused on getting really solid form, full range of motion. And yeah, my student canceled on me because he's sick. My little protege, I hope he's going to be feeling better by next week. But this works in my favor because it's monk mode. I get 1 more hour on the pad to add to my hours practice for the day while I get to continue the gospel according to Matthew. I'm halfway through right now at Matthew 14, and Jesus is about to multiply the bread and the fish. So let's continue with some pad practice and more gospel of Matthew.
We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, they answered. Bring them here to me, he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray.
So I just got back from my student's house. After that, I went to Wegmans and picked up some fast-breaking essentials, which are, of course, rice cakes and Dana White's recommended beef bone broth. Same brand. I'm excited to try that. But yeah, I practiced for an hour on the pad, and then I passed out for like 30 minutes before I had to go out to my lesson. So I'm glad I set an alarm, and I just finished the Gospel of Matthew. What an interesting story of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and there's just so many lessons in there, very valuable. And we'll do the full recap later tonight. But just gonna get 2 more hours of practice in, and that will secure my 8 hours for the day. And then going to bed and doing it all again tomorrow.
So we are used to fasting, and we do it. And when you're sick, you fast, don't you? When you have the flu, you don't eat. When your pets are sick, they don't eat. You don't see your dog running and eating his food when he's sick. He stays in the corner and he does not eat. There's a wisdom in that, and that wisdom is the physiology. Because the physiology of the body is saying that, hey, look, eating is dangerous. Eating takes up a lot of energy. Eating takes up, if you put in about 100 calories of food into your body, it takes about 60 to 70 calories of your body to digest that food, and then you get a little excess. So eating is an energy-consuming activity, but most of us don't think of it like that. You just think that all that eating is going to go.
Alright, so as I finish day 1 of my 5-day fast and my monk mode challenge, I haven't hit any crazy peaks of hunger where my stomach is growling like crazy. Day 1 was very easy when it came to not eating food. However, I didn't even drink a full gallon of water, so I would like to up the ante on that and drink more water. But I drank about half a gallon of water. I didn't really crave too much food today. Over my student's house, they were making some delicious food, and I just ignored it. I went to Wegmans. I picked up at the grocery store some bone broth, as well as some rice cakes for when I do break the fast. But I'm about to get my 8th hour of practice today, right here on the kick drum, just going singles for an hour, and that's going to be my 8th hour of the day. Right on track. Really feel good about it. I finished the Gospel of Matthew today. What an interesting story about Jesus Christ of Nazareth. It's just so interesting how he went around and healing everyone, but if they didn't believe in him, he refused to heal them. And that really directly correlates with manifestation. And if you believe that you can do something, then you will do it. However, if you don't believe that you can, you will not. I found that very interesting. A lot of the rules that he laid down in Matthew, they correlate to the way a lot of Christians live their lives. However, a lot of Christians don't live their lives that way. So it's interesting to see these rules made in the Bible that a lot of Christians don't follow as well. So I'm just analyzing, studying, and observing. And another interesting thing is Jesus fasted for 40 days, 40 nights. I'm fasting for 5 days. I've done a 7-day fast before, by the way. So this is not the longest fast I will have done, but it's just interesting to hear. He's fasted for 40 days. I know there's an obese man who used to fast for over a year. He did a fast for over a year, no food. I seen an interview with Kevin James and Joe Rogan, where Kevin James fasted for, again, over 40 days. So 5 days isn't really too crazy, but we're getting into day 2. In an hour, I'll be in day 2. I believe I've already entered ketosis. Again, Q-double was my last meal, so I haven't gone to the bathroom since before that ab workout, and that might be the last time I went. And so I'm very excited to see what happens with these next 4 days. I feel very focused, very inspired, very motivated, and I'm very proud of myself so far. So, yeah, very excited. I'm excited. I'm interested. I'm eager to learn more and more about Christianity as well. And the cold plunge, me starting it with a 2.5 minute cold plunge today, now I'm going to power through the next 3 days because I've already technically done 3 minutes in an ice bath. So I'm very excited, very proud of myself. Also, before my lesson today, I almost put up 225 on the bench press at my student's house. Every time I go over there, after the lesson, we put up 225. We try it. I de-rack it, I bring it down, and then I struggle on the way up. Today I got halfway up, almost all the way, and then I buckled. But it was the farthest I've gotten, and I'm in a completely fasted state. So it's just very interesting to see how the mind works and how the body works in a fasted state. I'm constantly learning more. So as I wrap up day 1 here and I upload the material onto the computer while I do 1 hour of kick drum exercise, I'm going to go to bed soon. I took 2 naps today. Pretty sleepy, but we're going to get it done. So let me upload this to the computer and we're going to check in tomorrow for day 2. Peace. Right now I'm focusing on finding the sweet spot with my left foot in order to maintain quick single strokes and what angle my foot has to be at. This pad is crucial. Absolutely. So yeah, just focusing on this, rounding out the 8th hour of practice, and I'm actually pretty excited. It's 12:47. So we made it. About to hit bed after this, and that's 8 hours of practice today. There it is. All right, cool. I'll see you tomorrow. Bodybuilder or some shit. I don't know. You gotta get the progress pictures as good as you can fucking get them to really see what the fuck's happening.